welcome to my little corner of Flosstube. If you've been here before, then welcome back. If this is your first time with me, then hello and welcome. My name is Sammy, and usually I'm joined by my little stitching bestie Deborah, but today I'm all by my lonesome and I'm going to do something a little bit different. For those of you that have never met me before, I am the organizer of the Floss Friends UK group and retreats, and also the Big Stitch UK, and I'm also a cross stitch designer. I have the company The Old Barn Stitching Co. So you may have heard of me but maybe not seen me, and if you're completely new, then I hope you like what I do. So today, with me being all on my own and having no Deborah to chat away to, I thought I would go through my WIPs with you. So a little bit early, not quite an end of year WIP parade, but I've been sorting out all my stash and trying to prioritise my active WIPs and then getting rid of the WIPs that maybe are not quite appealing to me anymore, because like everybody, tastes have changed over time. So I'm quite excited to show you what my plan is, what I'm going to be working on. I've tried to put a new rotation in place. I've also got my next freebie pattern that I want to share with you, so that's very exciting. And then depending on how long the video is, I'll go through some plans on what I want to work through next. For those of you that love seeing Deb and sort of want to know when she's coming back, don't fret, she will be here in November, and we've got something really exciting for you. We're deciding to do a finish parade. Now, Deb is a monogamous stitcher, so she's got loads of finishes, and I've been really good this year. I've had 23 finishes, so that's going to be a long one, I think. So do look out for that video in November. Unfortunately, our schedules have just not aligned this month at all with all the autumnal sort of events and things with my little girl, and obviously all the Halloween fun, but definitely next month we will be getting a joint video out to you. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into my WIPs. I've kind of done them in categories, so I'm gonna go through myself first. I've got my full coverage, some fancy ladies, and then just sort of everything else in there. So if it's not your style, obviously you can skip along. I will try and go through sort of who the designers are, what fabric I'm working on, and all the bits and bobs. But if I do forget it, because I am a little bit out of practice of doing a WIP parade, do just drop me a message and I'll be more than happy to let you know all the details. So let's get stuck in. So the first one is a sale that we're doing in the Floss Friends group, and I'm quite excited to see what progress people have made. We've got a retreat in like a week and a half, so I'm hoping a few of the stitchers bring theirs along with them. So I'll put a photo up of what it's going to look like. So this is, I'm calling it the Christmas calendar. It's by Crochet to Go-Go, and there's two options with this. You can either stitch it as one full piece to be displayed sort of as a framed piece or like a really long bell pull, but what I decided to do was I wanted to finish it as an actual advent calendar. So I'm stitching each box separately with enough gap in between them that I'll be able to turn it into a little pocket. So I'll show you where I'm up to. Now the plan was to stitch 2 boxes a month, and then we would have a little bit of extra time to fully finish it and have it ready for December 2025. I am behind, shock. If any of you know me, I am rubbish at keeping up with sales. I always fall behind, but I've got plenty of time to catch up. So here is where I am. Oh, and I'm so sorry because I've not ironed anything, because I've literally just pulled these out of the whips, out of the hoops tonight. It was sort of a last minute decision to do the WIP Parade. So sorry if this sends your OCD over the edge. So this was my first block. Hopefully that's going to focus. This little Christmas pudding, and this is stitched on 35 count natural permin, and I got this from Peakside. And this is number 2, the little cat and mouse, and I love the little sleigh. It's so cute with the little hearts. And then I should have another 2 boxes finished, but I don't. I did have sort of a couple of hours on this last weekend. This is number 7, and this is going to be a bauble, but I didn't get very far. These boxes, they look really, really small, but actually they're quite deceiving. So you'd think that, you know, one night you would get those finished, but they actually take sort of 2 to 3 nights, just because they are so stitch heavy. Quite a lot of colours, so you're constantly changing your thread, and then you've got the back stitch. So yeah, I'm loving work on it because the colours are gorgeous. But it's not going to be finished anytime soon, and I am more than happy with that. If you are on Instagram, I do recommend checking out Edita, who is my lovely, lovely stitchy friend that I met at the Floss Friends retreats years ago, and she's become one of my favourite stitching friends. She's fabulous, and she has stitched this on a dark navy, and I really, really wish that I had seen her version before I started mine, because those colours just pop beautifully. She's done an amazing job, and as always, she's flying ahead. She's way past me, but I'll put her Instagram on here somewhere. Do go and check her out, because yeah, her version of that is looking amazing. I did start another sal at the beginning of the year, and that was the Heaven and Earth Designs sal, but I've not worked on that in months, and in my dash to get everything ready, I have no idea where I put it. So I've definitely decided to keep it. I know that I'm not going to be finished by the December deadline, but I'm really sorry I can't find it at the moment. If I find it before this video goes up, I will insert it here. If not, yeah, it's going to be a while since I work on it again anyway. So talking of full coverage, I'm now going to show you my full coverage patterns. I'm just going to get my tablet ready, and then I can give you some stats. So for those of you who have watched sort of my last few videos, you'll be aware that I sort of had a real dip with full coverage. Last year it was all that I wanted to work on. I absolutely loved it, and this year my tastes have just changed completely. I've started wanting to do a lot more smalls, sort of quite tiny stitching, which I wasn't doing before. So I'm wanting to work on sort of 40 count as standard, or smaller than that, and sort of I want to get some quick finishes, whereas obviously full coverage takes years. I have only actually had one full coverage finish, and I do love it, but I would like to get some more finishes. So I got them out, and this was sort of one of the reasons that I wanted to change my rotation and how I was working, because I wanted to get these back in to my hoop, and I wanted to get working on them so I can finally get another finish. So I'm going to show you what I've got, and I'll try and give you the stats. Some I've not worked on in over a year, but I'll try and sort of let you know where I'm at. For those that have been sort of following I stitching for a couple of years, you will notice that there's probably around half of my full coverage patterns missing, and I did just make the decision to just scrap them, unfortunately. So they were all UFOs, just for the reason that they weren't calling to me anymore. My style's changed, and also my stitching technique has changed quite dramatically as well. I used to do everything 2/1 tent stitch, and now I much prefer 1/1 full cross for full coverage. So I have still kept some of the tent stitch in, but any future ones that I start will all be full cross. And if I forget to tell you, any full coverage that I have, you can assume that it is 28 count, even weave. Majority are gridded, but there's just one that isn't. I'll tell you if it is anything different. So let me stop talking and I'll just get into it. So the first one was a birthday star last year, so February 2023, and I let my daughter choose what my birthday start was going to be. So I was in the Pain Free Craft Club, and I don't know if they're taking on any new members at the moment, but I 100% recommend Sarah's club if you wanted to join one. It's really good value. She has some amazing designs. She's very prompt with her delivery, and the kits come with everything that you could absolutely need. So yeah, do go and check them out. So that's Pain Free Crafts. So the one that I ended up starting was a Bedtime Story by Chris Dunn, and it's just absolutely adorable. I'm just going to bring this closer to a bit. So my daughter Lizzie said that this was just like me and her when we read books at bedtime, and I started up in the top left corner, so I'm all the way up here. I didn't actually do many stitchy days on this. I think I probably stitched it for a few days in February, maybe March, and then put it away, just because it wasn't really calling to me because of the colour area that I'm in. But this is where I am. Ooh, focus. So this is done 1/1 full cross, and you can see some of the branches in there, but as you can see, I got stuck in this full brown patch, and it just felt like it was never ending. So on here, I've done 3,678 stitches, and the total is 102,648. So I'm at 3.58%. So a way to go, but now I've started working on full coverage again. This is one that I definitely want to work on next year, 100%, because I do love it, and it's definitely got that sort of emotional attachment to that image. And I'll just show you my little bag. This is one that I made for myself. I absolutely love this fabric. I used to make bags all the time, and then once I UFO'd all my projects, I realised that I've got twice as many bags, so I don't need to make any anymore. So that was a bonus of that. So next one is one that I have had for so long. So sorry guys, I've got my spreadsheet here. Let me just see if I can find it. So this was a start in December 2021. Oh my God, it's nearly 3 years old. That is embarrassing. So before I started with Pain Free Crafts, I used to be in the Gecko Rouge Club. For anybody that doesn't know what the full coverage clubs are, you basically pay a monthly subscription of sort of, I don't know, £10-12, and then after 6 months you can use all that money and get a little bit discount towards a kit, and it's a really good way of just spreading the cost because they're not cheap. So this is my next one. This is Little Gamer by Medusa Dollmaker. Now, she is no longer with Gecko Rouge. However, I do believe she's got her own website where she sells the charts, but I don't think she sells the kits. And if you follow Crafty Gaming Jamie, you will see this one. I think this is the one that she's trying to work on in her current rotation. I originally chose this one for my partner Ryan because he is a massive gamer and he loves all those nostalgic games, and he has sort of like a little gaming room. So the idea was that this was going to go up on his wall. I will get it done. I think the part of this that does put me off a little bit is all of the background. So all of this blue is stitched and it's all just one colour except for the stars. I have seen some people that just stitched the characters, but I wanted it to be done properly. So I decided to stitch the background. So here we go. This is where I am. You can see that Link is fully finished. I've got this guy who I cannot remember his name at all. I've got the little Tetris pieces here. And then I've got like the little plants coming in. So I do love how Link looks though. He looks so good. And all of the background over here is complete. So I have done a fair amount of background. So altogether, this is 14,037 stitches. I've done more than I actually thought. And the total stitch count is 54,948. And this is at 25.5%. This is really making me think, why have I not finished this before now? And this is done 2/1 10th stitch. Oh, I love this one. I need to work on this one a bit more. And this is another bag. I'm not going to show you all the bags, but there's just some that are so cute. Oh, I got this fabric off Etsy and it's just so adorable. I'm not into gaming myself, but Ryan's a massive gamer and now my daughter is definitely paying an interest. She's been playing Paw Patrol on the PlayStation, so I think we may have created another one. So I best get used to it. So my next one is Afternoon Tea by Randall Spangler. And this is a Heaven and Earth Designs, but this is a mini one. Sorry, this is just a printout, so I don't know how well this will show up. There you go. Cute little dragon making a cup of tea. So yeah, this is a mini one, so it's one of their smaller patterns. Sorry, let me just get my stats up on this one. And I did actually spend a night on this. Maybe last month, and I forgot just how much I enjoy stitching on it. So here we go. This is where he's at. So this is 2/1 10th stitch. I did start off by stitching page by page, but then I just really wanted to get his face in, so that's what I stitched on when I stitched on it last week, and managed to get some of those details in. One thing that I wish that I hadn't done was stitched this full border. As you can see, that sort of outside block, that's just one colour that goes all the way around. And I'm not sure it adds anything to it, but there is no way that I am going to frog that. So this is 17,497 stitches, and the total stitch count is 84,500, and this is 20.7%. And I don't think I said, let me just see, this was a start in November 2021, so just before Little Gamer. I think I went on a mad starting spree that winter. I don't know what it is, but when it gets to winter time, I want to be stitching on full coverage pieces. I think it's probably because I stitch for longer, and then in the summer all I want to do is have cute little finishes, usually with strawberries and flowers and birds. So I'm definitely influenced by the seasons. So my next one is one that you won't have seen anywhere else. So if you know me personally, I am a huge Disney fan. As a family, we go to Disneyland Paris at least once a year, and we have done since even before Lizzie was born. It's just, yeah, we have the best time, and we've got some of the most wonderful memories there. And they have an art shop in Disneyland Paris, and it's got all these wonderful sort of statues and pieces of art, and there's some in there that I just absolutely love. One of the artists is called Heather Edwards, and I sort of reached out to her via Instagram and sort of said, I am a huge admirer of your artwork. I'm a cross stitcher. I wondered if there was any chance that I would be able to stitch one just to keep for me personally, not to resell. And she was absolutely wonderful. She couldn't believe that people sort of stitch such big designs, and she was so kind. She let me have the choice of 2 images. So I chose one which was Merida, who is my favorite princess, but I've not charted that one. And then the other one was a Frozen one, which I decided that I wanted to do for Lizzie. Again, this was a long time ago, so this was September 2022, and I've just not got very far on this one at all, but I do love it. So I'm going to try and put a picture up here of what it looks like, just because I've not got a printout. And this is where I am now. So this is Anna, and this is 6,571 stitches. This is 1 over 1 full cross, and the total stitch count is 147,408. So it's going to be a biggie, and I'm at 4.46%. I honestly think that as much as I love this, by the time I have this done, it will more than likely be for my future grandchildren rather than Lizzie, but it is still beautiful and I do love it. I think my problem was sort of I got skin colour done, which was a lot, and then I went straight into hair colour, and it was just a lot of creams and browns, and I needed a bit of a break on it. But I actually did all this in a very short period of time. So if I just work on it, I could do it, but there's just too many patterns to stitch. Too many wonderful things. So yeah, one day it will be finished. And I think on this one, because there is so much black in the background will probably have to be 10 stitch, and just all the detail I'm going to do over 1. So that is that one. Next one is a pattern that I both love and hate, and I had to really think about this one, about whether it was going to be a UFO or not. So I saw these originally on Darren the Dizzy Stitcher's Flosstube, and this is a Heaven and Earth Designs Enchanted Christmas Ornament. Absolute stunning design. It's gorgeous, and it's not very big. I wonder if it says, so the finished piece will be 9 by 9 inches, so it's tiny. However, the only problem with that is, when you've got that much detail in such a small space, the confetti is horrific. And because I didn't know how the gridding was going to wash out, I started this on a non-gridded fabric, and I think it might actually be, I don't know, I've put that it's 28 count, but I'm not sure if this is actually 25 count. So I'll show you where I'm at. Let me just put this piece of paper behind it. So here we go. I have got some detail in there around the antlers, and you've got the little Christmas tree here and the presents coming in. There are so many mistakes in this, which is what's making it harder to follow. I don't know, did I say this is 2/1 tent stitch? I started this December 21 when I started everything else, and I've sort of periodically worked this every Christmas since. I work on it for a month and then it disappears, but the finished piece should pretty much fit in that hoop. I would like to say one day I'm going to finish it, but I don't know if I will. So the stats on this one is 9,823 stitches is what I've done, and the total stitch count is 39,597, and I've done 24.8%, so I'm almost a quarter of the way through, but it is hard. Even this bit was, you know, there's so many colours in there. So even though it's only 9 by 9 inches, there's still 89 colours. So yeah, be warned, if you are wanting to start a full coverage for the first time, I do not recommend doing one of the ornaments because they are a killer. But one day it will be finished. Famous last words. So let's have a look what we got next. So next I've got one again from when I was in the Gecko Rouge Club, and this is Rain, Tea and Books by Medusa Dollmaker. So it's just text, but it's got a beautiful floral and book and cup of tea background. I just loved it, a bit vintage looking, just something a little bit different to anything else that I've really seen before. Again, I don't think this is available anymore, but I think you can get it on a website. And I started up on the left hand corner, and I started with this little bird here, which is just adorable. I keep forgetting to get my stats up. Here we go. So this is where I'm at. And the leaves do look fab. The bird is just about to come in down here. This has not really had many days on it at all. So this is 2/1 tent stitch, and I've done 4,079 stitches, and the total stitch count is 127,200, and I'm only at 3.2%. Again, it's one that I will definitely work on in the future, just because I still really love the design, but I guess it's just not been high on my radar over these last couple of years. Did I tell you when I started this one? So this one I started in August 22, and I'll just show you my bag. Again, this is one I made myself, but how gorgeous is that fabric? I found that from a seller on Etsy. I couldn't tell you who it was because it was so long ago. Just finding random pairs of scissors and needles and all that fun stuff you find when you're doing a WIP parade. But yeah, doing this is really making me want to work on everything again, which is really good, really good. So the last one of my full coverage is a brand new start. So my friend Leanne, who again I met through the Floss Friends group, she is a really dear friend to me, and she's having a little bit of a difficult time at the moment health-wise, and she's always wanted to have a big project that she wanted to work on, and she's finally found that full coverage that she absolutely loves, and I'll put a picture up here. It's called Spoons, and this is by Unconventional Cross Stitch, and we decided to do a start along together. So it's very, very new. I started this 13th of October this year. There is a couple of dangling threads, so I do apologise. Hopefully you can still see what I've done. So here we go. Now you can't really tell because there's so much background, but there is a hefty amount of the white in there, and I'm just starting to do the bear, so you can see its two ears coming in and then its nose will just come down here. I was doing it in sort of a 20 by 20 block, but I got a little bit fed up of the background and I wanted to see a little bit of that bear coming in. So this is done 1/1 full cross. I've done 3,513 stitches, and the total stitch count is 165,600, and I'm at 2.1%. And let me just look. I don't think I've had that many stitchy days on this. So I've had... yeah, I've only had 4 stitching days, so I've not done bad. That's quite good progress, I think. And we collectively said we were going to try and get this done by 2027. Whether that happens or not is a completely different matter, but that's what we said we were going to try and do. So that's it for my full coverage. Have a little bit of a sip. Next, I've got my Fancy Ladies. I don't have many. I did have 3, but one is potentially a restart just because I'm not sure on my fabric choice. But I'm going to go through that at the end. My first one that I want to show you, I started at the Essex Needleworks retreat. And that was... nope, I am lying. That was the one that I'm restarting, sorry. I started this one in December 2022, and that was after the knitting and stitching show in Harrogate. I bought the full kit from Zarina at Hawkins Hobbies, and the fabric is from Sparklies. So this is a Mirabilia, and this is Botanical Garden. She is absolutely beautiful, and it's quite nice because you don't usually see them with sort of such full faces like that. Usually it's all about their dress, but this one just really caught my eye. I've not done loads on it for the pure reason that I find the pattern quite difficult to read. A lot of the symbols are similar. It's printed on sort of yellow paper, and I have to be in the right frame of mind. But again, I got quite a bit of stitching on this last month. So here she is. This is my progress. And what I did last month was I just filled all the white in these flowers. And we've got some Krynic up here, and then at the end I'll just go in and do all the beads. Sorry, that's looking quite dark. I'm hoping you can see the true colour in. It's an opalescent fabric, so it's 28 count. And I think it was an old fabric of the month from Sparklies. So I've not done loads, but one day she will be finished. But she is wonderful. And as I said, I got the full kit, so it's all there. Got all my beads. So I'm determined that she will be a finish at some point. And if you are looking for a Fancy Lady kit or something like you know, extra beads, fancy floss, that kind of thing, Zarina's really good. She's got a really good range and her prices are really reasonable as well. I'm actually going to knitting and stitching again this month next month on the 24th of November, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to bag myself maybe another kit or just get some more fancy lady patterns when I see Zarina. So my next one that I'm going to show you is a very, very recent start. So this was started on the 16th of October this month, so only a couple of weeks ago. I bought this from a lady called Melanie, who is in one of the Facebook de-stash groups. She was selling the pattern with the full kit, so the beads and all the floss, and then a separate post where she was selling fabric, and they just seem to go together so well. So this is my next one. This is a Nora Corbett. So this is Emmy, who is one of the Bewitching Pixies series, and I've had my eye on this one for a while. Just again, I like it just because it's a little bit different. It's not your typical fairy or mermaid. I just like something that's a little bit unusual. And anytime that I do any gaming or I like any sort of like fantasy films, I always like the characters that do all the archery and a bit more elf-like, so I think that's why that one appealed to me. So as you can see on here, this has got sort of that brown fabric, and it recommends this to be done on 32 count. However, what I have decided to do is do it on 40 count. I did consult my friends, so Adita and Ruth, thank you, and they said it can be done, but you just need to swap out some of the beads for petite beads or swap them with like Krynic or treasure braid. So I'm giving it a go, and this is where I'm at. Oh, the colours are just fabulous. They really pop on this. So the fabric is Sweet Tea by Colour and Cotton, and it's Newcastle 40 count. And I've only spent, let me just have a look. This was one night, so I've only had one evening stitching on this, so not done much. I'm thinking that this is going to come to the retreat with me, because if you can see, the outfit is all block stitching. Oh, it's all sort of 3 or 4 colours, so I'm thinking this one will work up quite quickly. So I'm quite excited to see how this comes together, and stitching on that different count is just adding an extra bit of a challenge, so I'm excited for that one. The next one, I think is a bit of a sort of fan favourite, but I go in waves with this one. So this is Fish and Chips by Long Dog Sampler, and I'll find a photo and I'll put it up here. Now this, I'm not always stuck to seasons, but this one, for some reason, I can only work on this one in the summer, and I think it's purely just the colours that I've chosen. Let me see if I can get you the floss. While I'm doing that, I just want to show you my bag as well. So this is from Jess Gets Stitching, and I just love it. It's huge, but it's so cute and so colourful. So I have stitched this using Silks For You floss. So here we go. Hoping you can see those colours. How gorgeous are they? And this is PR 193, and they have a really good offer on. So I think if you buy 5 hanks, you get the 6 free. So me and Leanne, we split it and we got 3 each, and it just made it really good deal, and we split the postage, so that was nice and cheap as well. So yeah, really happy with that. So this is where I'm at. Let me show you. Let me get in a bit closer. So I've tried to be really picky with where I stitch, what colours I use, so it's all mixed in. And I don't think I've stitched on this since the summer, maybe last summer actually. But yeah, everybody sort of loves this one, but oh, I don't know. I think part of me thinking, what am I going to do with this when it's finished, because it's going to be huge and it doesn't go with anything in my house, but it does look fabulous. Those oranges just look so summery, and I think it's what's stopping me from stitching on it any other time of year, but it does look great. I don't know if I said, so this is on 28 count even weave. I don't know what the colour is called. I actually got this from the sewing shop CA a long time ago to start full coverage, but I scrapped it and decided it would be better suited to this one instead. So this is my first ever long dog sampler, and it will probably be my last just because it's been going on for so long. So I started this, I don't know if I said, I started this August 23, and I think it's probably going to be around here for at least another couple of years, but it will get done, it will. My next one I absolutely love, and I don't know why I haven't stitched on this more, because it's just wonderful. So I call this the chicken sampler. I'm not sure what the actual name is. It's from Al Forest Embroidery. I will put a photo up here. I got this again with my friend Leanne, and we ordered the full kits and we split the cost. I did, however, split out the fabric. I just didn't like what the fabric that they sent. It was quite a loose weave. And even just sort of trying to put it into a hoop, I think it would have just damaged it. So I decided to swap it out. So I'm stitching this on, I think it's 32 count. It's an opalescent even weave, and this is from Coffee Craft Fabrics. So here he is. And this is with the Call for Floss. I mean, that variegation is just something else. And I was quite sort of particular with the direction I was stitching in, just to give me sort of the directional variegation that I wanted. I have gone wrong in the border here, and that might be what has stopped me from stitching, but I need to get back to him. He is fantastic. And I must admit, the threads from Al Forest Embroidery are wonderful to stitch with. They are so soft. I'm just going to show you a couple. So this is from that kit, just so you can see how much variegation you get. They're truly wonderful. So they can be a little bit pricey, but I personally think they are well worth it. And if you can find somebody that you can split the postage with, it's not too bad. And this is my chicken bag that I made, because I love chickens. So this one, I don't know if I said, was 3rd of August 2023. I started that one. This next one, again, was one that I was really on the fence of whether it was going to be a UFO or not. I really, really liked stitching it until I started putting the Krynic in, and then all of a sudden I didn't like it anymore. So I'm not sure whether I'm just going to pull that bit out or just suck it up and carry on. So this is the Queen of Hearts, again by Owl Forest Embroidery. So you got the Cheshire Cat at the top, and then the Queen, and I mean that dress is just absolutely fabulous. So this one, I didn't get the call for floss. I ordered the pattern and I just sort of used what was in stash. There is some, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this picture. So these parts here are actually beads, and in her whatever you call that there, that's a big heart bead as well. So I did have to do a bit of digging to find those, and they ended up costing me quite a bit. But again, I think it'll worth it. I don't think I've got them in the project bag. I think they're upstairs. But I'll show you those if I ever decide to work on it in the future. And this is on Fabric by Sparklies. This is a 28 count even weave, hand dyed. So here she is. So I love the Queen, how she's coming together. She looks fabulous, and so do the roses. She's gorgeous. But it was this little clock bit here. I just felt like it didn't quite match the rest of the pattern. I would love to hear what you guys think. I honestly, when I was stitching this, I didn't think I was going to be able to put it down, and then this just, yeah, put me off. I didn't mind the sparkly bits down here at all, and I don't know if you can see, but she's got sparklies in her collar and then in her crown. I think they look fabulous. Oh, and in her cuff as well. But yeah, just not sure about this bit. Do let me know in the comments what you think. Is this one to carry on, or should I change this clock bit and do my own thing? If you've got any ideas, then do let me know, because yeah, I was so excited about this one. So this was my New Year's Eve start on 31st of December 2022. And I stitched on it all night and stayed up really, really late. I'll show you this bag that I made as well. It's looking really, really grubby now. But when I had my cry cut, so it says, "She got lost in Wonderland." So I did the writing on. And then this is some custom Alice in Wonderland fabric that I had printed. And it's on the back as well. So yeah, I love that one. It's one of a kind. I won't be doing it again, I'm afraid. So next one is a Dimensions kit. I quite like to have a Dimensions kit just on the go. If you're sat in the car and you've got an extra 10 minutes, or if you want something while you're just asleep in bed, just not asleep obviously, but while you're laying in bed before you go to sleep, just something quick and easy to work on. So I started this one in August this year, and I love the design. Very much reminds me of my daughter when she was little. Loves being on the beach, loves collecting seashells like every kid does, and I just think it's really, really cute. It's one of the gold petites, and it is, does it say how big it is? 5 by 7 inches when it's done, so it's super duper tiny. Now I want your opinion on this. I've triple checked the floss so many times. I love doing the waves, love doing a hat, and then I've come to do the skin, and this just seems really dark compared to the image. If you look at the back. Now, I always say to people with dimensions, trust the process, go with it, because when I did my last one, I was questioning it then, and then when it came together, I absolutely loved it. But I'm a little bit worried that maybe the threads are not quite right. I don't know. Do tell me what you think. If you have stitched this and you think the same as me, that something's not quite right, or if you say just trust the process, please do let me know. I've tried to look at pictures online and it's just so hard to tell, but I don't want to get all the way to the end and then realise that there's one stitch colour that's, you know, in there by error. So let me know what you think. I have no rush to get these dimensions done. It's just there, really is a travel project more than anything, but I just like to keep one on the go just in case. My next one I started on the 6th of July. I started my Halloween season really early this year. So in summer, I started stitching Halloween because I was so excited for autumn. And then the whole of December, I feel like all I've stitched on is Christmas stuff. So it's likely to get to December and I'm going to be stitching spring. I'm completely out of sync. But this one is, what's the name? Halloween Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. I will put a picture up here. I've not got the cover photo with me, and this is where I'm at. So this is a hand-dyed 32 count opalescent by Coffee Craft Fabrics. I'm just going to open this up because this might just be one of the most fabulous pieces of fabric you will ever see. It is perfect for Halloween stitching. So this is where I'm at. It's not going to be done this year because, as I said, I've completely gone off Halloween, and I didn't think I was into it because of the coverage, because I think I've just done one strand. Yeah, 1/2 full cross on 32. Let me just see. Yeah. And as we all know, black DMC does not have very good coverage. However, because it is sort of Halloween and primitive, I'm actually thinking now that I don't mind it. So what do you think? Pretty good? I like it. So I'm going to put it back in my stash, and this will hopefully be a finish for next year, just in time for Halloween, but no immediate plans. So that is that one. So the next one, what to say about this one? This one, I love it and I hate it. I feel like it's my kryptonite. This is the Koi Pond by Shannon Christine's Design, and this was started on the 17th of April 23. It is so bead heavy and cryonic heavy. I chose it because I was going through sort of a bit of a chatelaine phase. I'd just finished my first ever chatelaine and I wanted to do a small sort of really fancy piece. And I saw this on, I think it was on somebody's Instagram, and I immediately fell in love with it. My dad has had koi ponds since I can remember. So yeah, it just completely called to me. I hand dyed my own fabric, which is this, and it looks lovely. But yeah, let me just show you, because the impact is amazing, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So here we go. This is the koi pond. And I mean, just look at that sparkle. I'm just going to show you close up. So all the gold is either beads or Krynic. There's some fancy stitching in there. There's some crazy beads that were a nightmare to find. And that big mandala is just full of beads and Krynic. And it's beads next to beads, which is a nightmare. But it just looks amazing. It truly does. But every time I pull it out, I feel like I work on it for a few hours and then I've had enough, just because it's so intricate, the work on it. And I usually end up dropping beads everywhere and making a mess. But it's just, it is beautiful. So when I was sort of sorting all my WIPs out 2 months ago, I said I wanted this to be at 50% by the end of the year. So that would be sort of down here done. And I've not touched it once. So I don't know whether to just do all the cross stitch, and then at least I can see some progress, and then just go back in and do the fanciness. But I'm a bit undecided. The chart is crazy to read as well, so I have to be in the right frame of mind completely for that. But there is no way that I'm going to UFO it, because I just love it far too much. I now feel like we're absolutely flying through these. So my next one I have not touched. I don't think since summer last year. Which is really sad because I was so excited to start this one. This is Salem by the Little Stitcher Shop. Oh, and I'll put a picture in here because I've not got the cover photo, because I purchased this off Etsy. So this is all I got done, hardly anything. And this was when I was sort of first starting to work on 40 count and just sort of trying to find my stride with it. This is a big pattern. It doesn't look that way, but it is stitch heavy. And I just want to show you this fabric. How gorgeous is that mottling? It is so subtle that it literally looks like marble. Let me just make sure you can see that. It is just fabulous. Oh, there we go, you can really see it there. And this is from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics. Again, this is one of my favouriteest fabrics of all time. I would like to stitch on that one a little bit more. If any of you follow the Ellie Weller Stitcher, she finished this, it might have even been last year or the beginning of this year, and it just looks fantastic. So I would really like to finish that. And I'm just going to show you this bag. So this is from Sarah, Not Enough WIP Bags, and I purchased this at the Floss Friends retreat. Same on the outside. Let me just see if I can show you. And inside is bright green. Complete autumn vibes. One of my favourite bags. I love that one. Oh, I think my tower of whips is about to fall. Another sort of really new start. I started this when I weren't feeling very well, so probably maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure I had COVID. I was knocked out for sort of like a couple of days, and then it really took me a couple of days to get my strength back before I went back to work. So while I was just sort of laid in bed and relaxing, I decided to start a new project. This is, oh, you're going to see lots of reflections, sorry. This is one of the Mill Hill kits. So this is Jim Shore by Mill Hill, and it's the reindeer version. There's 4 of these all together. So the reindeer, Santa, snowman, and a Christmas tree. And I would like to do them all at one point. They're a little bit different to your usual Mill Hill because they're not stitched on perforated paper. They're actually stitched on Ada, and I think it's 18 count Ada. So again, it's quite a nice, easy one to stitch on. I can actually stitch on this one in hand, which made it quite nice when you're not feeling too good. So I've not done loads. I only spent, I think, 1 or 2 days working on this, and I started right bang in the middle to do the reindeer. He's lovely. So cute. Uses a lot of colours though, so again, you don't feel like you're getting too much progress quickly, but the effect is just beautiful. Love it. So that is that one. I've definitely run out of space now. And my last WIP is one of my own. So I am reproducing a sampler. I've not got anything to put behind this, but hopefully you'll see it. So this is by Louisa Potter, and it's just gorgeous. Truly, truly gorgeous. And I found this one on eBay, just fell in love with how delicate it looks. There's a little bit of staining and sort of marks around the edge. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but other than that, it's really good finish. I'll just show you the back. I always love to see the back of samplers. So this is 1846, lovely and old. It's got that old smell to it. It didn't come in a frame or anything like that. It just came as it is. I lent this to my friend Adita, who I've mentioned previously, and if you've watched my previous videos, you'll be able to see her version of this, but I'm just going to show it again. So she chose her own colours just to make it a little bit more modern, and it's in this gorgeous terracotta fabric, and then she's used variegated floss. It's just beautiful, fantastic finish. And she's just laced this on matte board, but it will eventually go in a frame. And she's been so kind, she's let me borrow that, but I will give it back. And then what I've decided to do is stitch a version that's a little bit more similar to the original sampler, just so you can see both versions together. So this is my progress. And as you can see, it's much more similar to the original. It's only stitched with 3 colours as well. And it is beautiful. I've just not been drawn to stitching on it at the moment. Again, I think it's just the time of year. But I want this to be finished for February next year, because that's when our first retreat in 2025 is. So that's my challenge for that one. And this is stitched on 40 count, I can't remember the name of the fabric, but it's stitched on a 40 count linen, and it's using MPI silks for this one. I'll show you again. Gorgeous. And I think when you see them side by side, they just look like completely different patterns. But yeah, that's going to look great. So that one will hopefully, touch wood, if I pull my finger out, will be finished and ready to buy on the online shop and at the retreat in February. For anybody who wants to have a look at my patterns, because I've not really gone through those in this video, you can visit littleloops.co.uk, and then you can buy the PDFs there, or you can buy the paper copies if you attend one of the retreats that I'm at. If you hate PDFs and you want to buy a paper pattern, you can just message me and we can sort that out. So I did say to you that I do have more patterns, more projects, but I was thinking about potentially restarting them. If you have followed me for the past maybe 2 years, you will know that I started some of the cottage garden sampling, a year in the woods. I decided to choose 4, 1 for each season. So I stitched the reindeer for winter, I did the bear for summer, and then I did the owl for autumn. And the only one that I had left to do was the raccoon for spring. So that is this one here. Now all the others are done on 28 count even weave, and they're all in different shades of sort of blues and greens. My plan at the end is to turn them into a quilt where each section is seasonal colourings. And last Christmas I spent a little bit of my Christmas money and bought some Tilda fabric sort of jelly rolls and charm packs, so I could really kit that out, and it's going to be hopefully my first sort of full-sized quilting project. So I was a little bit impatient with this one. I stitched the owl, absolutely loved it, and was sort of, yes, I need to get this raccoon done and then I can start on the quilt. Rather than thinking it through, I just jumped into my stash and picked out a opalescent fabric that I thought would work, and I chose a pink one. Now I do quite like how it pops on there, and as you can see I've done quite a bit. I spent a couple of days on this. However, when I've looked at it next to the other animals that are all bluey greens, it just doesn't go at all. So I might even pass this on. Once I finish the raccoon, I'll pass this on with the pattern and let somebody adopt my WIP. But what I decided to do instead was, when I was at the Big Stitch in the summer, I went to see Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics and sort of asked her just to help me out and find a fabric that would work. As you can see from the pattern, it's very much a green colour, and I just love how those pinks look. So I wanted something that was going to be more similar but with flecks of blue, and we came up with this one. So it's 28 count opalescent, which is what all the other ones are done on, and it's a mixture of greens and blues. So what I'm going to do is restart that, and then once the 4 are finished, I can finally start working on that quilt pattern. When that is going to be done, I don't know. It could be a long way off. And then of course after that, I want to do the Fabulous House series and hopefully make them into a quilt as well. But I'm not starting a single one of those, so that is going to be way off. And then my next one that I didn't want to UFO completely, but I'm considering whether I should change the fabric. So this is Bella Filipina, and it's Gaia, the Earth Goddess. I'm sure you will have seen this around because she's quite a popular one. So beautiful. I decided to start this on a yellow fabric, and I don't know what I was thinking, if I'm honest, because what is the main colour of that? So of course trying to stitch on it was just not enjoyable. So this is where I got to. I've only probably spent, I don't know, maybe 2 days on this. This was the one that I started at the Essex retreat, It's 28 count opalescent. It doesn't look very yellow on there, but let me just see if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. You can see it's really yellow. And I'm just not feeling it at all. So I think I'm going to see how my pixie goes on. See how I find working on 40 count as opposed to the 28 count. And then I will make a decision on whether I want to do this on a higher count as well. But for now it's just going to sit there because it's not calling to me at all. So yeah, we will see. It'll probably still be sat there when I come to do my WIP parade next year. So that is all my WIPs. That's all my projects. Well, all my cross stitch projects. What I did want to share with you, I am predominantly a cross stitcher, but I do dabble in other crafts. So I think maybe last month or the month before, I finished my first knitting project, which was a scarf for Lizzie, which is a little bit messy, but she loves it, and I'm proud that I finally finished a knitting project. So yeah, that was that one. I used to crochet all the time. Before I started cross stitch, I was forever making sort of little teddies and little toys for Lizzie. I started that when I was pregnant, so 5 and a bit years ago, and I've decided that I want to get into crochet again, but maybe not quite as much as I do cross stitch. I saw this pattern, so I'll put a picture up. So it's the daisy blanket pattern, and I've never made no, that's a lie. I once made a crochet blanket for Lizzie when she was a baby, but it was tiny, so it doesn't technically count. But I showed the picture to Lizzie and she really loved it. So I'm attempting to make her a full-size quilt, one that an adult could go under, not just a child. Hopefully then it'll last. So I have been making granny squares, which I've never done before, but I've been getting these in. Sort of if I've got a spare sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, I can get one of these done pretty quickly. I'll show you. So it's looking cute. So these are all going to be the same and then fastened together. So I've done, I think maybe 14, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I've done 14. So I've still got a way to go because that's probably only going to be the top 2 rows of the blanket. I've probably got, I don't know, another 40 to make or something daft. But I'm really enjoying that. I've only started that in the last couple of weeks and it is coming together so quick. So I'm using is it Style Crafts, from Love Crafts, the chunky yarn. It's really cheap, really affordable. I think I spent about 40 quid and that will hopefully get me a full blanket, which I think is great. Lovely Christmas project. I'm hoping to get this done by January at the latest, but we'll see. And then the next thing I wanted to show you was my next freebie pattern. So if you again have watched before, you will see that I released these back in the summer. And these were the autumn freebies. So we've got A for autumn, a little barn, and then a little bird and squirrel. And then I said to you the next ones were going to be released in beginning of November. So we're here. So now we're ready to go into winter. So we've got the W for winter. And I've just finished it with some dark blue fabric. And we've got the winter house. and you can see they're super tiny. They're only a couple of inches tall, and this is stitched on 32 count. And then we've got the little robin in the winter tree with the berries. I've seen people finish these in some wonderful ways. You don't have to finish them all separately. You can finish them together. You can do them as a bell pull. You could do, you know, all of the stitching together. So there's going to be 12 in total, 3 for each season. So next will be spring, and then we've got summer. If you head to my website, which I'll put along here, you can download the patterns for free on there, and they're great little quick stitches, and they look great on a little sort of winter display. I'll just show you. Ooh. I went to our local garden centre the other weekend, and I got this fabulous tray. So this is going to sit on my coffee table with all my little Christmas bits and bobs, and then I got some little Christmas decoration bits that are going to sit in there. So I can't wait to get all that together, and these are going to sit in there. So just a little bit more on plans, what I'm trying to stick to. So I do have my model stitching, which is obviously a priority because I've got, I like to do an exclusive per retreat, and then we've just announced Big Stitch. So I've got things that I'm wanting to get ready for that as well. So for any of you that missed the announcement, Big Stitch is coming back again to Yorkshire on the 27th and 28th of June. 2026, and ticket sales will be available from June 2025. So do absolutely join the Facebook group if you want an update, because they will be on a first come first serve basis, and once they're gone, they're gone. We've definitely got a maximum capacity that we can offer. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So I've got quite a few model stitching that I need to think about and get ready. But other than that, I really want to start working on some of my WIPs. So what I've decided to do is Monday, I've got my little scrap piece of paper here that I have stuck to my monitor, my work monitor. So, oh, is it going to focus? Probably not. Nope. I'll just read it to you. So on Mondays, I'm going to do stitch on a small, or a sort of, that can be a WIP or a model. On a Tuesday, I'm going to stitch on a sampler. Wednesday is going to be my fancy lady day. Thursday, again, is going to be stitch on another small WIP or a model. And then Friday is my full coverage day. So one day a week, I am going to make sure, no matter what, I stitch on a full coverage. And then the weekend is anything goes. So that is my plan. I've got some projects that I absolutely want to start as well. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably won't have seen these, but I decided to do the animal crackers, but I wanted to do them teeny tiny. So here are my teeny tiny animal crackers. So I've got Harriet the Hare, which was the Big Stitch exclusive, and then I've also got Maggie May, who I nearly chopped off her nose with the fabric, so she's not the best finish, and I did her in like a little festive colouring. I might stitch her again with the yellow cardigan, just when it gets to spring. And these are my backing, so I've got a little bit of velvet on Harriet, and then I've got some tartan on Maggie, and I finished her, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I think it's too tiny. I finished her with just a little string ribbon around her neck, which I just think is so cute. So I want to do some more of these. This one is stitched 1/1 on 36, which was a complete accident, which is why she's so small. And Maggie was stitched 1/1 full cross on 28. So that's those two. Next I have got Bobbin, I've got Hazel the squirrel, and I have got Clovis the badger, and then I really want to do the little snail as well. So I've got quite a few that I want to do for those, and my idea is that I have them all sort of stood together at the top of my little cake stand. So I definitely want to try and keep an animal cracker on the go as often as I can. And the other thing that I decided to do was do the tiny towns, but again, do them small. So I started the Christmas tiny town. Again, I started this when I was just sort of feeling a little bit rubbish, when I was just getting over COVID. And it was a really, really easy stitch because it's lots of block colouring. So I stitched this on 40 count, 1/1 full cross, and I used DMC substitutes, and then I added my own little decor to them. So here is my finish. It's super, super tiny, and I put some like little candy cane trim on there. I've got some little star buttons. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I added sort of some Krynic onto the Christmas trees. I don't know if you are going to see that or not. That's my little bell. Let me just see if you can see it. Maybe this end. Yeah, there you go. You can see my Krynic. So I did add some sparklies, and then my little bell on the end, and it's super, super small. So the idea is that this is going to go in my little coffee table tray, nice and small, and then I just finished it off with some Christmas fabric on the back. But I love this, especially the little jingle jangle. It was a pain to finish, but I do love it. It don't want to show up, does it? But yeah. And I think it's about 6 inches by maybe 2 inches. So really, really cute. So I've ordered, oh, I didn't show you my little Rudolph as well. My little Rudolph has got a little red bead for his nose. So I did just add a couple of little extra bits in. So I've ordered the thankful one from Talking Dog Stitchery, just because I love turkeys. I don't know what it is, but I find them hilarious. So I really want to do that one, and I'm going to do them on the same count. And I've got the bee one and the February love one, and then I've also got the bloom one, but I'm just going to show you the difference. So I did the bloom one ages ago, but I did this on 28 count, and that is it on 40. So the houses are way, way, way smaller. So I'm probably going to do this one again because my finish is so rough. It's I'm quite ashamed of having this one out on display, but I really like the pattern, so I'm going to do that one again. So tiny towns and animal crackers are what is going to be on my rotation regularly, as well as the full coverage, and then I'm really going to try and get that Bewitching Pixie finished. So I think that is all for me and my WIPs. I hope you've enjoyed it. I feel like I've talked for England, but it's all exciting for me. I feel like I've got this new energy to work on all my projects again. I will hopefully see you in November when Deborah is back with me, and then we can show you all our finishes from this year. That one really is going to be a lengthy one. If you come into the Floss Friends retreat, I will see you in a week and a half. I don't know if this video will be out in time, but this Saturday we do also have a stitching meetup at our local pub. Anybody is welcome to come. If you want to find out a bit more about that, then join the Floss Friends Facebook group. That is a free sort of catch up and we're usually there for about 4 hours, so that one is going to be really fun. And we also have stitch and chats on Zoom once a month as well, so you can drop by and do some stitching with me and the other Floss Friends people. So yeah, lots going on. If you like what you saw and you want to see me again, please do like and subscribe, because it does mean so much to me. And I hope you really all enjoy the free pattern, and do tag me in on Instagram, because I love to see how you finish them and what colours you've chosen to do them in. So yeah, that is all from me. Thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.